on this evening. Now, an independent review into the university department in Norwich at the centre of the so-called Climate Gate scandal says there was no evidence of deliberate scientific malpractice. The Climate Research Unit at the University of East Anglia hit the headlines last year after claims that scientists had manipulated data published on the internet. But Lord Oxburgh, who headed up an inquiry into papers published over 20 years ago, says there was no evidence of anything underhand.
Very positive outcome for the Climatic Research Unit and for UEA. Science has been vindicated. Lord Oxburgh has emphasised that the scientific conclusions have been justified.
Right, and it's just coming up to 11 minutes past 6. It's terrific to have you with us this Wednesday evening as ever.
Yes, and still to come, all the news and sport from where you live, plus two tales of local enterprise.
It doesn't look much, but this green box is helping
Soldiers from the Royal Engineers based at Wimbish in Essex have been honoured today for their service in Afghanistan. More than 100 soldiers from 3 Engineer Regiment received their campaign medals at Carver Barracks near Saffron Walden this afternoon. Their job was to find and destroy Taliban roadside bombs. The families of 2 colleagues killed during Operation Herrick laid wreaths in their honour.
It's a good opportunity for them to get together with their friends that they haven't seen for the 6 months and sort of celebrate the return of the squadron, but also dedicate the day to the 2 killed in action from the squadron that we had.
Supporters of a British soldier jailed for refusing to fight in Afghanistan claim he's being mistreated in prison.
Joe Glenton, who was born in Norwich, was jailed for 9 months in March for going absent without leave. Chris Kiddie reports.
Claimed that Joe Glenton is being ill-treated in a military prison in Colchester come just 5 weeks after he pleaded guilty to going AWOL. First came complaints that he wasn't receiving books sent in by supporters. Then he was told he was to be disciplined for insulting an officer, a claim Glenton denies. Joe Glenton became a figurehead for those who opposed the war in Afghanistan, refusing to return to fight in the country for a war he believes is unjustified and unwinnable. His mother, who visited him on Saturday, says he's being victimised for speaking out.
I think he speaks for a lot of soldiers, but also a lot of the British public. 71% at the last poll were anti-has been in Afghanistan. He's been sentenced, he's paying the price for voicing his views and for going AWOL, and I don't see the need for any further mistreatment.
We consider he shouldn't have been sentenced to any time anyway. And soldiers suffering from post-traumatic stress deserve treatment, not punishment. He served his country, and when he was serving his country, he realised that the rules and regulations are flouted.
In a statement, the Ministry of Defence said it is inappropriate to comment in detail on cases which are subject to ongoing legal process. Joe Glenton will serve at least 2/3 of his sentence, meaning he could be released in August. He has an appeal scheduled for later this month.
Chris Kiddie reporting there on the story of Joe Glenton. A gang have tried to hijack a petrol tanker in Suffolk, assaulting the driver in the process. It happened on the A12 near Blythburgh in the early hours of Tuesday morning. The tanker was hit from behind by another vehicle. When the driver pulled over, he was set upon by 3 or 4 men. The gang eventually fled empty-handed.
Now, elderly drivers are just as safe on the roads as younger ones. That's according to a report by the AA out today.
As if to prove that's true, Norfolk Police have chosen a 93-year-old motorcyclist from Stalham to launch a new road safety campaign. Kate Prout's been to meet him.
Life in the not-quite-so-fast lane. At 93, Reg Scott is more of an easy rider these days.
When I first bought my bike in 1937, there was virtually nothing on the roads. Today, I mean, the traffic is such that you can't help but feel vulnerable, so you've got to really be so careful when you're riding a bike.
His first bike was a Norton 16H with a top speed of 65 miles per hour. Today, his bike could do 130. And it's because motorbikes are so powerful that more damage can be done.
It is a beautiful county. This time of year there are far more motorcyclists on the road. As a consequence, as drivers we've got to be more careful, and motorcyclists need to be more alert to their own safety. Last year 10 motorcyclists were killed on Norfolk's roads. That's 10 too many.
So the Casualty Reduction Group are offering the chance for bikers to take the Hugger Challenge, a 90-minute assessment of your skills by an experienced instructor, whatever your age. 53% of over 70s now currently hold a valid driving licence. And with drivers like Reg still on the roads, proof that older and wiser can mean safer. So whether you're a blossoming biker or a vintage variety, it pays to stay safe on two wheels. Kate Prout, Anglia News, Norwich.
Great to see Reg there setting a better example for those younger cyclists.
Very good.
Well, moving on to football now, and it was certainly a bad night for our region's clubs in League One.
Southend can only pick up a point in their battle to stay in the division, while Colchester and Norwich both lost, as Jim Rice now reports.
Norwich are beginning to make hard work of securing promotion from League One. Corey Smith's first half strike cancelled out at Orient by 2 goals from Sean Thornton. Their lead over third place cut to 7 points with 4 games left. Colchester have dropped 3 points off the playoff pace after a 1-0 defeat at Norwich's next opponents, Charlton. Nicky Forster keeping the Londoners in the hunt for automatic promotion. While 2 goals from Francis Laurent weren't enough for Southend to record their first win in 5 games. A 2-2 draw at home to Brentford leaves Steve Tilson's men 5 points behind the team they need to catch to get out of the relegation zone. Jim Rice, Anglia News.
So things are all looking a bit bleak on the pitch, but at least the threat of administration looming over the Shrimpers seems to have been lifted. Chairman Ron Martin took his second trip to the High Court in 2 months today, where he was given a further 7 days to pay an outstanding tax bill of more than £200,000. Now, the club's solicitors say that the money is in a holding account and is set to be paid by tomorrow at the latest.
Now, using the internet is a way of life for many people now, but connections in some rural areas can be notoriously slow.
They certainly can. So, when BT told villagers in Lyddington near Corby that they couldn't have a faster connection, well, they refused to take no for an answer. They're the first in the country to set up their very own broadband system, starting a bit of a rural revolt against the telecoms companies. Claire McGlasson now reports.
The scenes are picturesque, the pace of life slow. That's the way the villagers of Lyddington near Corby have always liked it. But it doesn't mean they were happy to be left behind. BT told them superfast broadband simply wasn't cost effective. So they decided to go it alone and install their own mini telephone exchange, lending a local company £37,000 to set it up.
It's the fastest broadband installation in a rural village in the UK, so it is a first, and it was also significant that we took the whole of the copper line, disconnected the customers completely from the BT network, so that set a precedent in the UK. Many small companies could now approach OpenReach, BT OpenReach, and say this is our right, we wish to do this in our village.
Today the village celebrated.
There we go.
Another 40 communities are already planning to follow their example. So, was it worth it? Phil Rubino is on the new super-fast broadband with speeds of up to 40 megabytes per second. Roger Edwards is still on the BT service, averaging 1 megabyte per second. We asked them both to download the same video clip to see how long it would take.
It is a little slow. I find that I do have to wait a while.
It's a bit like getting out of your clunky old Morris Marina and getting into your shiny new Jaguar. So that's the kind of difference it makes.
Well, by the time they'd told us that, Phil had finished the download. It took Roger another 4 minutes, then success.
This is the village that's refused to say no. They've proved that super-fast broadband is possible and affordable here, that country living does not have to be a compromise. Claire McGlasson, Anglia News, Lyddington in Rutland.
A fast downloaded Claire McGlasson there.
Indeed,
very nice.
Very quick. Now,